The Heretic. Oh boy, this is a film I was very interested in. Number one, because Hugh Grant. Hugh Grant is one of my favorite actors right now. I think he's just doing some really great stuff. It has been for a while, but he's been, especially right now, been doing some great stuff with Dungeons and Dragons. Wonka, he was really good in, despite the controversy around his role in that film. Um, which I don't need to get into, but he's in a bunch of stuff. He's been doing really good stuff. He's great in Paddington too. Just a lot of great stuff where these projects were already good, but he just adds a little bit something to them. And that's one reason I want to watch this movie. And also, this is something I don't share very often. I was raised religious. I was a Mormon. I've since dumped that kind of lifestyle. Um, I'm not going to go into any of that. It's not really something I'm out to this review. But what I am saying, I knew that seeing this film would give me a very personal reaction. And it definitely did that. Not as much as I expected, because the stuff that this film is showing is stuff that I've seen other people do, but not necessarily myself, right? When I was younger and being raised Mormon, I was actually considered to go on a mission when I turned of age. It's something I never wanted to do. I knew I never wanted to do for a long time, and I was very much expected to do that. But I've seen other people do that. So a lot of the stuff that I've seen these missionaries were doing in the movie, I was like, oh yeah, I've seen people do that. That's very realistic. It's clear they put research and effort into a lot of the stuff that they're talking into this movie. So it gave me that personal reaction, but I don't know if this film will give you as big as a personal reaction if you weren't actually on a mission yourself as a Mormon. So just keep that in mind if that's something you're curious about. But this film is really good. Of course, Hugh Grant is great. You expect that. But what's really great about this movie is throughout this movie, I'm going to talk a little bit. I'm going to hint at some things, but I'm trying not to spoil it. But basically, by the end of this movie, in an odd way, I guess we'll do spoilers because this movie's been out a little bit. By the end of this movie, Hugh Grant becomes God. And him being God is the kind of the thesis of this movie. He is trying to insert control over these two girls and kind of make them think, make them do things, make them feel things that they would never feel being raised in that life. And by being able to insert control, he basically becomes God in this situation. And it makes for a uniquely horrific situation, because it does make you think about how choices in our own lives, who really has control. And of course, there's the idea of him battling with these women about some of the religious philosophy and some of these ideas, right? But these religious ideas are not the thesis to me. The thesis was to me about who's really in control, and it's kind of an interesting idea to explore throughout this film that they do really well. It's incredible. I apologize about my dogs. They're wrestling right now, and I'm not trying to. Anyways, hey, you two, get out. Anyways, so yeah, there's a lot of great stuff there with that, and those ideas are really well explored and put together. It makes for a very, very well-written, well-crafted film that, has a lot of ideas that are going to leave you thinking. And, ideas that absolutely made me uncomfortable. Like, there were several points about this movie where I understood what it was going for, but I was very sickly uncomfortable. But I think it was in the right ways where it got me thinking, asking questions that I've really never thought about before, and stuff like that. I think the one moment that it gave me the biggest personal reaction, being Mormon, is when he said, I know everything you were going to do because you were, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but basically, because your whole life you've kind of been doing what you're told in a way. And as someone who was raised in that lifestyle, a lot of religious people are very evil, not evil, very easy to predict, because so many of them are just doing what they're told. They're not really questioning things, and when you do question them, they break under pressure very easily. And I know for that from experience. I've seen people do that. So that gave me a very personal reaction, because I remember leaving church and really realizing, what am I doing exactly? Because I was doing things because I was told, because I thought they were the right thing, because my parents told me they're the right thing to do. And it really wasn't true, right? At least for me, anyways. I'm not trying to like discount anybody's faith or religion, though I do not believe in like organized religion, all that stuff. I think it's pretty evil, messed up stuff if you look in the backstory of all that stuff. But I think that's where it gave me the biggest personal reaction, just knowing people like that, being like that in some ways myself, being someone who was in a situation where I was being raised of a certain way, and doing things because it was told, and then eventually breaking out of that and realizing, oh. So it gave me a lot to think about this film, and I almost want to see it again, but it was very tense and scary for me, so I don't imagine I'm going to go back to the theater to go see this, especially since I want to go see Conclave again. There's a couple other movies I really loved that, you know, I wasn't able to see again, so it felt weird to see this one again. And so many other new movies this weekend, next weekend, and Gladiator, and Wicked, all these things, so I don't think I'm going to have time to do that, but I'm definitely going to try. Let me know your thoughts, like, share, and subscribe.